Hello and welcome to our Team Brick. In today's video, you've seen the title and thumbnail. You know that, yeah, I've messed up. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna start this off by saying, if you have any idea on how to resolve the situation you will see later, please post in the comments. I'm kinda stuck and do not know how to save this. This started off as a simple mission to repair a relay satellite in lunar orbit that had slowly broken down due to Kerbals and part failures. Its solar panels and the reaction wheels had failed. So yeah, I wanted to send two Kerbals up to repair it. We're actually using a new spacecraft, an old launch vehicle, which we'll see the fairing deploy shortly. Maybe go. It's a larger version of the Ursa spacecraft from before. It is a larger capsule. Still only seats two Kerbals. However, we have better Delta-V capabilities, better RCS, and larger solar panels. And overall, it's a more capable spacecraft. It actually has a larger docking port. We're not going to be needing that docking port. This was more of just a test flight. Yes, it does have crew on it. And we've reached orbit and deployed our solar panels, and so now we head off towards the Moon. And so now we're gonna have to go for a polar orbit around the Moon, since the satellite we're aiming to repair is in a polar orbit around the Moon. So we're igniting the second stage again. And once that runs out, we start the spacecraft and finish our burn. And we can use some RCS for some corrections. And okay, so I actually did check the Delta-V for this with a Delta-V chart. However, I failed to account for the extra Delta-V required for a polar orbit, which, yeah, again, you might be able to slowly see how the Delta-V we have is continuing to get lower. If you look at the top right corner, you can see a trip total Delta-V that shows how many Delta-V is in all the maneuvers I have planned. And yeah, it's pretty similar to the total amount of Delta-V the spacecraft has in general. But after continuing to do mid-course corrections, we can get our trajectory to align pretty well with the satellite. Now, this was not the optimal time to launch, since we have to do more course corrections to get into the proper polar orbit. But finally we're at the Moon and can do our first insertion burn. Which, at this point, I'm only a bit concerned about the Delta-V. Everything's going pretty well so far. We have plenty of consumables. And so yeah, continuing to do maneuvers, adjusting our inclination. And yeah, slowly getting closer to rendezvousing with our target satellite. Now, there's gonna be a bunch of footage that I've recorded for this that's been cut, as those were failed attempts to return to Kerbal, or just in general. Like, there were a few issues with this, some random crashes that happened earlier, and yeah, of course, the complete failure to return to Kerbal so far. Which, yeah, that'll be the failure in this mission. And again, if you have any ideas on how to resolve that, please leave them in the comments. So we continue to adjust our orbit, using some very questionable maneuvers to reduce time, but importantly, we're using more Delta-V than is absolutely necessary. To gain some nice shots of the spacecraft on you. And, now towards our actual encounter. And at this point, I'm getting a bit concerned about the Delta V, so I decided to shred some unneeded weight from the spacecraft. So, yeah, we didn't need a docking port, and so yeah, it's been removed. I also considered removing some of these solar panels, but I decided against it. So we can now do even more maneuvers because, okay, at this point I've already reloaded a quick save and readjusted my trajectory to hopefully save on Delta V during the rendezvous, which you can see right here. I was able to get a more similar orbit and reduce the difference in velocity, reduce the relative velocity. And so yeah, now we're just a few kilometers away, and skipping ahead a bit, we've arrived. We've arrived at the satellite, so we can cut off our relative velocity and be relatively stable, be stationary relative to it, just a few meters away. So now we can do it. And we can now get our engineer on EVA and quickly go over to the satellite and do the repairs on it. And so the main thing is, 3 of its 4 solar panels had failed, so we can fix that up, as well as fix the reaction wheel on the probe core, and inspect all the other components. Also, this is not the only satellite I have that has port malfunctions. There were a few solar storms, I believe, and parts do not react well to radiation. And now, you can see, I'm trying to plot some maneuvers back to Kerbal, and we don't have enough Delta V. We're a few hundred meters per second short, and you could see the Delta V readout up on the top left. So, any ideas on how to get back to Kerbal? We have, I believe, 14 days of consumables. So yeah, if you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments down below. Yeah, I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and goodbye.